Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin and this is Robin Reads. If you're new here, welcome. Stay a while. And if you're not new here, hi, stay a while. So today I will be talking about some of the things that I read in November. I didn't read a lot. I don't know why. Who cares? It's 2020. There's no reason for why I did or did not do anything. Anywho, let's get into these books that I read. I first read Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. Mahurin? Yep. So this is the sequel to Serpent and Dove, which came out last year and won a Goodreads Choice Awards. We're not going to get started on how these awards are chosen, but it won for like YA fantasy, best YA, I don't know. It won. Anywho, I read it earlier this year, like before shit happened, and I loved it. People hate Serpent and Dove, and I don't know why. This is about Lou, a witch, and Reed, a witch hunter, who, because of a robbery, have to end up marrying each other so that they're not part of like this precarious situation. They start off as like enemies. Obviously, she's a witch. He hunts witches. But over time, they develop this love for each other. During this whole time, Reed is actively hunting witches. He's like the head of, I don't remember what they're called, chasseurs? That's what they're called. They're the witch hunter army. And so the end of the book, there's like a war that's going on, and so it puts them into a very difficult situation. Hopping into the second book, which I thought was going to be the last book because I thought this was going to be a duology. Can you guys hear those sirens? I hope that person's okay. No. By all means, please. Take your time. I'll just sip my water. Stay hydrated, folks. I thought that this would be the end of the story, the second book, but because I thought it was a duology, but turns out they're gonna make it into a trilogy. And you could really tell from this book. I am annoyed because I was actually really looking forward to reading this, but this was the definition of a filler book, and not a very good filler book, actually. So one of my issues with this book was that there was like no background information at all. So if you're going to read this, I would suggest rereading the first one, like immediately before you read this one. Otherwise, you will have no idea what's going on. Like, you just jump back into the story and with these characters, and you're just like, oh. It'll be like, oh yeah, Marianne, and she went on, remember when she went on that thing, and you're sitting there for 50 pages like,
who the fuck is Marianne?
Another thing that was annoying was, in the beginning, Lou and Reed, I get it, they're a couple now, they're like, oh, we're gonna love each other, but the horniness level is at a 10. Like, I get it, you guys want to have your sexy time, but can we focus on the sexy time once we're living? Because if you're dead, it doesn't matter. And then the last thing that really like just annoyed the fuck out of me was that none of the characters seemed like their original characters. I understand that at the end of the last book they went through some shit, but these characters seemed completely different than the people that were in the first book. And I know, like, towards the end of the book, it was like, okay, I understood why one of the characters was changing a little bit, but some of the other people, I was like, what happened to you between then and now, which I feel like was maybe a day or two in between the books? And I'm just, it doesn't make any sense. I want someone to make it make sense. Between the characters feeling like completely new people, the plot being completely pointless, and me being lost half the time, I gave this 2.5 stars. But I am going to read the third book because I didn't come this far to not find out how things are gonna end. I didn't. So I will read the third book. Hopefully it'll be much better than this one. I think it comes out, it's supposed to come out the beginning of 2021, March maybe, May. Don't quote me on that. So we'll see how it goes. Then I also read A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. I gave it 4 stars. I'm continuing on in the series. I don't know what I can say about this because it's like smack dab in the middle of a series. But there was more killing, more backstabbing, more hurt feelings. 2 people that I really don't like died. Love that for me. So yeah, there's that. And the last book I read this month was Death in Her Hands by Otessa Mosfe. And that, I didn't intend to read that, but Libby was like, you know what? All of your audiobooks that had completely different wait times, they're now available. All of them here. So I went ahead and listened to it. And originally I gave it 2.5 stars. But I'm not sure if I still feel that way. Anyway, so when I put a book on my want to read shelf on Goodreads, I usually have a good idea what it's about when I put it on there, because I don't just add books because. But it's very rare that I read a book immediately after putting it on the shelf. So there's a very good chance that I don't remember what it's about. But I do remember knowing it was about this older woman who finds this mysterious note and she's trying to solve a murder mystery. Cool. I get it. I start it. And the main character, Vesta, is walking in the woods with her dog. She comes across this note. And the note says, her name was Magda. Nobody will ever know who killed her. It wasn't me. Here's her dead body. But when she gets the note, there is no dead body. This is not a spoiler. This happens like 15 pages in. And so now Vesta is trying to solve who killed Magda, and I guess she's also looking for Magda's body that's not there. So as it continues on, you realize that Vesta is a super unreliable narrator, and the book starts to descend into just a stream of consciousness. And because of that, I'm not really sure what happened in this book. Was anything real? Was the note real? Is Vesta real? Was the dog real? I will never know, because the way it ends, there's no explanation. There's just, you are just left. I don't know. I don't know what's real and what's not. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, did I really enjoy this? I don't know. Like, I was do not get me wrong, I was very confused for a lot of it because I was not sure what she was making up and what she wasn't making up. But also, I was just so amused by what her ramblings that I don't know. I really have to think about this. I'm probably never going to reread this again. I'm actually never going to reread this again. But I was entertained while I read it. Frustrated, confused, yes, but entertained nonetheless. Also in November, I started reading Legendborn by Tracy Dion, Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler, and The Institute by Stephen King. I'm actually almost done with The Institute by Stephen King, and I'm enjoying it, so good for me. I don't know if I'll continue with the other two books because I'm experiencing fantasy fatigue, and I may just need like a fantasy break. So those were the books that I read for November. If you've read any of these books and you want to talk about it, leave a comment down below. Also, what did you read? What was your favorite book of November, if you have one? Or maybe your least favorite book? Tell me, I really want to know. So until next time, I hope that you comment below so we can chat more. Like if you liked the video and subscribe if you want to. Until next time, bye.